Hi, Hearties. I'm back with another sneak peek, and this time it's all about Rosemary and Lee. And I love Rosemary and Lee. They're like the perfect couple. They really are. Okay, stay tuned. Since you're here, click the button and subscribe, and also click the bell and the word all for notifications. I really like this sneak peek because there's a lot going on and you don't realize it. So let's just talk about Lee in general. I know I addressed this in other videos, like why is Lee so disheveled? And what I did was, and I'll put the Hallmark link in the description, and then you could do the same. But what I did was I put it up on my television. I went to YouTube. I found the Hallmark channel. If you're wondering how to search for it, it is simply, I just simply put in Lee and Rosemary, When Calls the Heart Season 9, and boom, it came right up. And I put it up on the TV, and I got really close to the TV because I'm obsessed. I'm not hiding that. I am obsessed. You all know I'm obsessed. I don't even know if it's like a healthy obsession, but anyway, I digress. And when I put it up close, I really wanted to see what in the world is on his cheek and on his back. So I'm looking, it doesn't look like leaves. It looks more like it's clumps of stringy dirt, like, you know, with lots of roots in it, or it's sort of like, something furry exploded, which is kind of gross, but it doesn't look like leaves, and it's all over his back. And if you really look, his shirt is greased up, his face is greased up, his sleeves are dirty, and his hands are very greasy and dirty. So I was thinking to myself, what in the world happened? Something else I'm noticing is it's two things. Nothing goes unnoticed by Rosemary. So either they already addressed what went on before this sneak peek took place, or she was there when it happened. So whatever was happening to Lee, maybe she was there. And I was also thinking to myself, I really don't want to speculate. I want you to. So I want you to put in the comments what you think could possibly be happening. But I was thinking, I remember in the last season when Rosemary fell asleep and then she had that grease on her and he was like, eh, and she was like, oh yeah, and it was actually the ink from the machine. And she's like, oh my goodness, I can't do this myself. I'm going to need help. I'm going to need a team. So I'm wondering, there's that whole industrialization going on this season. And we've heard, my guests talk about it. Wesley talks about it. It's been out there, in other written interviews. I'm wondering if it has something to do with that. Is he trying out something new, maybe a printing press of some sort or whatever for her? I don't know, but I'm leaving that up to you. I want you to speculate in the comments. So something else that I have to point out is how adorable they are, because she wants to show him what her new story is and she hasn't finished it, but it stops. And that's another thing. If you put this up on the TV, you can actually see what is written on the paper he's holding. And it's the beginnings of an article about, of course, him winning the mayoral race. And he gets that little look on his face and he's like, oh, you really do believe in me? And she's like, of course I do. I've always believed in you. And I'm like, oh, even though they've been married forever and a day, they still have those cute little insecurities and little, sort of almost like boyfriend, girlfriendy, dating type feelings, which I love, which I would hope for in any marriage. We know that's not always realistic, but I am so happy that Lee and Rosemary have it and that we get to enjoy it vicariously through them. So I also wanted to point out the fun things that are on that board. I actually had to stop it and then enlarge it as best as I can. Anyway, on the board are all her story ideas. And of course, the set decorators and the directors, they like to have a bit of fun with background information. But I'm also thinking, I wonder if they're little hints. So there's one that says dough stolen. And then I was thinking of a stolen, but that's 2 L's. And you make like a dough, a Christmassy dough. It's actually really delicious. I thought that was cute. And then right above it is recipes wanted for the church cookbook. And I'm like, oh, that's adorable because, Minnie is over there in the cafe and running the cafe, and she's all about recipes and cooking, and her husband's in charge of the church now. So I guess they're trying to do a church cookbook. So that's where my, it's not a question, but I have a request. That's number 2. I would love if you have a great recipe that should go in a church cookbook, if you would include it in the comments below, and then I'm going to go through them if anybody does it. I'm going to go through them and pick a couple of them, or at least one of them, to recreate, and I'll do a little video about it. So I'm excited because you know me, I love to cook, and I love the whole idea of a church cookbook. And we could even like do it historically. Look up like early 1900s church cookbook recipes and see what comes up. That would be a great thing to research. So those are the 2 things I would like for you to do. 1, speculate what could be like the reason for Lee and him being so disheveled. And then also, if you don't mind, adding a recipe for the church cookbook. And then I also wanted to point out there's this other article, and it's interesting the way it's worded. And I don't know if it really is clear enough for you to see, but it says getting to the roots of the problem. ROOTS instead of root. And I'm thinking maybe there's a root issue, like with the trees. I mean, her husband is in lumber, right? Maybe something's going on when they're digging up, land, or trying to maybe clear land. And there's, long, big, giant roots. Those are huge trees. So I don't know anything about, what kind of trees those are, but I'm wondering if something along the way is an issue, or if that was just something fun, or maybe ROTS means your heritage but how would your heritage be a problem? So that's why I was thinking it was more like actual tree roots. I don't know, just having some fun there. There's a lot to think about in those like 30 seconds, right? All I have to tell you is I love Rosemary and Lee. And if you love Rosemary and Lee, I have a fan page for Rosemary and Lee on Facebook. And if you're not a part of it, please join. We just had our 6-month anniversary. There's myself and 4 other women that make up the admin team, and they're amazing. We get along beautifully, no drama. It's so much fun. And in 6 months, we have over 1,000 members. It exploded overnight. And I want to say thank you to our Brazilian friends, because I don't know if the season ended or whatever, but suddenly so many fans from Brazil joined. And welcome, and we love you, and we love all of you. So join, because Rosemary and Lee, they deserve their own fan page, don't you think? And I had the pleasure of passing along that information to Pascal and Kevin's publicists. And I was so excited. I was like, look at this, 1,000 in less than 6 months. We did that for them. And it just shows how much so many of us around the world really do enjoy this show. Okay, I've talked enough. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you later. Bye.